Meow.
I'm going off the rails on a crazy train. Hello, guys, and welcome to another episode of Off the Rails Podcast. I'm your host, Kenny, and I'm joined today by my friend.
Hi, I'm Ian.
I switched it up on you.
Yeah, you did. Okay,
You still had to talk, though, before you even got around.
can't give me anything, can you, Tony? Can't give me anything.
Listen, if I start giving you
Words.
things, okay,
Words.
then you're gonna start like thinking that you have rights.
What is he, a woman?
No.
I ain't black. So
And
I
like
have
that,
rights.
we need to move on because, my lord, did that
There
go
goes
bad.
our YouTube.
That
career.
got bad
That-
fast.
And with me is my other friend.
Wow.
Ah.
Yep, the fat man, Tony, who just walked us into a YouTube demonetization. So, all right. Ian,
Holla at
you
ya,
have
homeboys.
been on our case
Yes.
about wanting the first topic. So, at
So,
this point in
boys,
time, we're going to talk about geopolitics.
I will hurt
Okay. Guys.
you. No.
Fentanyl. It's a problem. Did you just attack me with my own puck?
Yes. Okay, guys. Today is a great historic day.
Hey, pull that away because you're every hey, Kenny, your mic, you're like blowing.
You were saying, Ian?
Yes. Thank you, sir.
So today, someone has died.
Someone has died.
The actor for
Nope.
Dumbledore.
Nope, that was the other day. Senator Dianne Feinstein out of California, one of the staunchest anti-gun senators in American history, has died today. In recognition of this, I have a quick clip I'd like to play.
Okay. Yep.
There we go.
Thank
All right,
God
well-
and good riddance, you absolute crone.
Oh, boy. Are we taking a stance all of a sudden?
I have never liked her.
Listen, I will say this in his defense. We've kind of unofficially taken stances on a lot of things, especially when it pertains to 2A.
So, good
You-
riddance, Dianne
you yourself.
Feinstein. You will not be
So I've
missed.
taken stances when it affected... Well, the last time I took a stance is because it affected a media source like comics and whatnot. I didn't just come out and say, this is what I am and I hate my enemy. and
This
then
is
start
what I am and I
playing
hate my enemy.
celebratory music about someone's death.
Good
That's
riddance.
a bit much.
Good riddance.
All right.
So-
Well, now our audience knows who we are and what we are, or at least what Ian is. Moving-
I ain't never tried to hide it, homie.
we're gonna move on.
So,
Thank you
geopolitics.
for your words. Dude, I am so broken today. I can't do things.
Maybe you should lose some weight and that help blood circulation get to your brain and make it work better.
No, it really won't because fat people. Listen, the fact that I'm fat? It's because it's literally the only thing he has against me.
It's really not. But
Like,
it's
I
just
get
the
your
easiest
low-hanging
one.
fruit, but like...
Yeah, quite literally, it's because I can just go, beep, got it. Beep, like I don't even got to get up. Me and my mother have recently coined a new saying.
That doesn't mean the joke tastes good.
It does for me.
Most things taste good to me.
Anyways, my mother and I have recently coined a
I
saying.
tried.
So I went on a big rant last time I was on
Gerber.
the phone with Gerber. Very nice.
Gerber.
Went on a rant last time I was on the phone with her about how much
Knife.
I hate pennies.
You hate pennies?
I hate anything that's not quarters. I truly think we should just go to quarters, half dollars, and dollar coins. Just make everything quarters. Because, this is $12.87. I hate it. And I was talking to my mother, and I was like, this makes me want to just like, someone's like, oh, this costs, $10.93. I'm like, I want to shoot your cat. That's how much I hate this, that you made this uneven. And so the new saying we've coined is, and I even shot the cat. For like I even paid, like we paid with exact change. Like I'm going to pay you $15.41.
Didn't realize you were that deeply infuriated by currency.
I as a cashier, I actually enjoyed it when people paid with change like that, so I could give exact change back. It made my job so much easier.
Understandable, but think about how much easier it would be if we only had to worry about dollar coins, half dollars, and quarter dollars, and we didn't have to worry about any of these pennies and nickels and dimes, all these little coins that fall underneath your car seat and just get lost forever. They'll just end up under your bed, just disappear forever, take up room in jars and crap because
I feel you on this one. I really do. And for a while there, as a cashier, I actually had the same complaint about that. So, and I have no argument against it using dimes, nickels, and pennies. No argument against it, or no argument for that. So
it would just be a lot easier.
You reminded me of this story. I don't know if I've told you guys this or not. That is smooth, bro. Kenny brought out this really nice Gerber. Dude, it was made in Portland?
Bro, all Gerbers are made in Portland. Gerber's a Portland-owned company.
Yep.
My strong arm, that knife, I really like that fixed blade with the
Dude, that makes me
That's made in our very own state.
That makes me like my Gerber so
Same thing
much
with
better.
Danners. That's why I like That's one of the reasons I like Danner.
That is
so
local.
much.
Wait a second. What was that? It's got a lock safety to it.
Yeah, you got to push the back into.
No. Watch. It's got a lock safety. It stops it right there so you can't accidentally clip your the back of your hand.
Very nice.
That is nice. There you go. Sorry, I got a thing about knives. It reminded me about the story. So I was working as a cashier at a nondescript gas station.
Nondescript.
Nondescript.
Okay, we can't use nondescript because it's not the same as my nondescript. It has to be anonymous. We'll use anonymous for that gas station.
Yeah, we will. We'll use it. We'll call it like some stupid non-gas station name like Rocket Mart.
Wait, was it that one or was it the other one where me and you both worked?
No, it was Rocket Mart.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
It was Rocket Mart.
Yeah, and there was a guy who came in. Every once in a while, I'd get these guys that would pay, and I'd open the store, and they would pay for their coffee or something, and like nothing but change, which is annoying because you have to count it out, right?
Yeah.
This dude came in and bought $20 worth of gas, coffee, and a pack of smokes, and paid. He pulled out this Ziploc bag of assorted change.
I wouldn't have taken it.
I can't because the gas was already pumped. And he grabs this bag of assorted change and plops it on the counter. Oh, they weren't even rolled.
Nah, someone's gonna die today.
There was not $1. There was not one dollar coin or 50-cent piece in there. It was quarters, nickels, dimes, and pennies.
Nah, someone needs to die for that.
And I had to sit there and count it all out. And that was the day that my brain broke.
I think your brain broke long before that, Tony.
It was payday, right? And the cable company at the time, the nondescript cable company that our friend works for.
Let's just say that there's a spectrum of cable companies,
yes.
and we don't know which one he works for.
So they were bugging me because my bill was due that day. And so they're like, hey, you have to pay your bill. And I was like, it's due today. I'm at work. And they're like, you have to pay. So what did I do? I took my check. And I took it to the bank.
Did you?
And I cashed in gold coins.
Oh.
Nothing but gold coins. And then I went home.
How much did you cash in gold coins?
$350.
I'm gonna give you a high five for that because I appreciate the pettiness.
Then I went home. It gets worse.
Oh, please.
Yeah, and I grabbed my cane.
Your cane.
I grabbed my cane.
Did you also grab a fur coat with that one?
Oh no, I didn't. But I did grab a pot and the hat that I wore for St. Patrick's Day. And I walked into that building with my hat on, my cane in one hand, and my pot of gold in the other, and said, "Oh, and I'm here to pay my bill."
How did they react to this?
First, the laughter. Then, when I poured the gold coins, unrolled, on the counter, not in a Ziploc baggie, just. Then they got annoyed. And I sat there and said, I'm going to need my change back too.
You monster. I am so proud to call you my friend right now.
That's first.
That. Yeah.
Truly is. Your pettiness has officially reached a level where I'm here with it. That is quite literally the greatest thing I think I've heard today.
That was good. It was good. I miss being that guy sometimes. Moving on. All right. So Kenny's got topics. Kenny topics. Topics,
So-
Kenny. Kenny topics. Topics.
Topics.
Can I?
Can I?
Can I?
Topics.
Topics, can I?
Topics.
Topeka.
Geopolitics.
Let's do it.
So
Let's get down on this. Our friend is getting on some
That's-
Rocket League, so
Wait, which friend?
David.
Oh.
Not David. David.
Ah, got it.
Yeah, his evil twin will be probably jumping in later.
Mm.
He is asking us about who is what One Piece character, live action specifically, which I still have yet to watch.
But I don't know. You think I'll watch anime or anime adjacent things?
Yes.
But I don't. Okay, I guess Abridgment's my count.
I was,
So
I was
like
gonna
that is
say,
the
wait,
closest. That is the closest.
But you don't you?
Abridgments,
Sir.
yeah, I said my bit, and then you
Geo-
guys started talking about David.
Sorry. Go ahead. Do your
Okay.
thing.
So
Geopoliticking.
geopoliticking.
I had the. I'm just joking with you. I'm
That's
sorry,
all right. I
sorry.
was going to let you go on. I was going to continue reading what I was reading. You guys don't bother me by interrupting me. I'll
Continue,
just,
Kenny.
I just figured. it
you
was-
couldn't puck him.
Yes.
I just figured that.
I'm not going to
With
say
how-
that ever again.
With how
We are
I just realized what you said
Kenny.
and what he agreed to.
Kenny. I am neither Californian or Canadian. We don't do male on male pucking here.
You didn't help that, Ian.
I know.
Okay, go. You do you.
Something. Don't ask, don't tell. Haha. Gay jokes in the military.
War on drugs. It's a big deal in America, yeah.
I mean, not as much as it used to be, but yeah.
I don't know. It's gotten worse since 2021.
But Kenny, don't you,
Pull the mic back just a smidgen. There you go.
Kenny? Don't you know if you ban drugs, people will stop using them? I mean,
And welcome to the gun debate. Anyways,
All you gotta do is make it illegal, bro.
so
yeah.
now, most of our drugs are coming from where?
South of the border.
Yeah, see, south of the border. Someone gets it.
I was gonna do a pretty good accent, but all right.
Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead. You do. Please do.
Going to Mexico, Holmes.
You boys ever been to Mexico?
I love that movie.
So, the new big kid on the block is fentanyl. You guys know what fentanyl is?
Oh yeah.
It's a bad thing. It doesn't take much fentanyl to hurt someone either.
When I was working at the nondescript casino, I found a baggie of that stuff. About
Nondescript
the size
casino.
of this, about the size of this dongle right here.
The articles that I read on it says that something that fentanyl as small as a grain of rice is enough to OD.
Yeah.
Yep.
And it can be absorbed through the skin too, so just don't touch it.
And what sucks is that they're finding ways to manufacture it to look like candy for children.
Didn't take long for that. That's a common thing. That is an actual common practice for cartels to do this.
So,
Happy Halloween, kiddos. Pixie sticks, fentanyl.
what exactly
You
can we
choose.
do about this? Senator Lindsey Graham has introduced a bill. I don't exactly remember what the entirety of the bill is, but if you read it as an abbreviation, it spells narcos. So I found that funny.
What?
What?
I kid-
Someone
kid
look
you
this
not.
up. Look this up now.
I'm
I can do it
listening.
right now.
I need to see this.
I'm listening. Will we have a 2-part Netflix special about this?
Graham
Pretty sure it's just Lindsey Graham.
Narcos
Narcos.
bill.
Bro, now I want to play Tom Clancy's Ghost Recon Wildlands and go shoot cartel people.
So, what is the name of it?
What is the
It's
name
called
of
the Narcos bill, but it stands for something specifically.
Okay. Have you guys heard about this communism thing Someone should do something about that. Oh, David has entered the chat.
Anyways,
No. Wait.
it's called.
For the audience that can't see us because one of our members refuses to allow me to film, Ian just broke his own neck.
It's called under the bill, dubbed the Ending the Notorious Aggressive and Remorseless Criminal Organizations and Syndicates Act, or NARCOS.
Oh, Narcos, I guess.
Graham did not come up with
It's
that. on
Graham.
his own.
It's Graham. Graham.
Now,
All right, so Graham did not come up with that on his.
he's the front runner
Dude,
of it,
that's that right
of a
there.
Republican committee
Give it
that's
back. No,
coming up with it.
Get back.
No, I'm not giving it back. It's my parrot now.
Your puck parrot.
My puck parrot.
Or your puck
So,
parrots.
what it does is it allocates 9 specified drug cartels in Mexico and labels them as foreign terrorist organizations.
Bro, I saw this in a movie. The Sicario de Soldado about to go down out here.
Okay,
So-
okay. I'm
By
tracking,
labeling
I'm tracking.
these drug cartels FTOs,
All right.
I'm gonna,
We're tracking. Let's go.
we can use military action to bring them down.
I actually.
Now,
Sorry.
not every. Now, you would think, like, okay, so that just means we're going to send a drone over there and bomb their compound, which is the most immediate response that America ever does. So, can we do that? Well, yeah, we can, but unfortunately, these 9 particular drug cartels are really good about integrating their compounds in the middle of urban districts.
Yeah, unfortunately, that rules out, dropping a JDM on them from.
Another thing that might concern you is that a lot of these cartels like to integrate young soldiers, like 11-year-old soldiers, into their programs.
Mm-hmm.
And they are not afraid of making them frontline soldiers,
Mm-hmm.
especially against American operatives.
Well, because we're one of the few countries that still flinches about killing kids.
But Kenny, you might be saying, these senators of ours, especially the GOP, are probably getting a little bit heavy-handed about sending the military after these guys. Why not let Mexico deal with it?
Oh, yes. Oh, yes. Please, Kenny. Kenny, why don't we let Mexico deal with it?
Yeah.
So, the Mexican president, Andres Manuel Lopez Obrador,
Apparado, I think.
I think is his name. He's kind of gone away from cracking down on them since he's been elected. And I kid you not, he's quoted as saying this: "I'm not going to defeat the gangs with bullets, but with hugs."
Wait. Hold on. Who said that?
The Mexican
This
president.
is Andres Manuel Lopez Obrador. He is the Mexican president.
El Presidente.
El Presidente.
And since he's been elected, they have stopped cracking down on drug cartels. And he's quoted as saying, "I'm not going to fight them with bullets, but with hugs." So, that being said, you can imagine how good they are at fighting their own cartels, especially when the cartels are basically like doing their own cosplay of One Piece and being pirate kings and ruling the seas and doing whatever they want. They're literally fighting the government for control of Mexico right now.
Oh yeah, I listened to an interview with a federale, and he was like special, like military police federale, and he was talking about how they got a call. They were driving down a road in like a 5-long convoy, and they got a call that cartels come behind them. They pulled over, let the cartel pass, and then went to another town for lunch because the cartel went to the town right in front of them for lunch. And they're like, we should probably go to another town. That's how
Wunderbar.
bad it is.
Yeah, they oh my goodness, sorry.
Cartel is straight up setting up checkpoints and just like taking people's stuff.
Yeah. And they
Like,
do
if
it
you have a
to
pickup truck, good luck,
foreign
bro.
travelers too. In
Mhm.
2013 here, in 2013, there was Americans that got ambushed and robbed by these cartels, and they were just travelers from America.
David says that that's actually a translation error. He said that he will defeat them with drugs, not hugs.
Yes.
Oh, sure. Now, I don't remember what it was, but there was this undercover group that went by a particular name. I don't remember their name, but they leaked a bunch of government documents, and it proved that there was tons of illegal activity going on in the Mexican government, and I'm talking like an ungodly amount.
Corruption in the Mexican government? Say it's not so.
So it's very difficult to believe that Mexico, which is basically 50% dominated by the drug cartel, even within its own government, is going to do anything about the drug cartel.
They're not.
So
One of these days, we're just gonna have to like Discord call David into here because the comment section is just amazing right now. It's a fight fire with fire situation. You know, you use drugs to stop drugs. Totally logical.
Okay. So why are we not sending in our troops right now? Well, the United States and Mexico have a very shifty relationship when it comes to the United States Army coming in and solving problems on Mexican soil. Because the last time we did that, we kind of took a bunch of land from them.
We kind of created Texas the way it is today.
So we, well, technically we created New Mexico the way it is. It was the very last time.
Yeah.
So, yeah, Mexico might not necessarily be readily down for us just coming in and crossing the border with whatever manpower we choose and decimating whatever they got going on. Also, who exactly is funding all these people in Mexico with drugs, munitions? This is where I'm going to go down the rabbit hole.
Please do.
Tinfoil hats, activate.
So he can go tinfoil, but
Not
I
quite
can't.
conspiratorial because it's proven. They admitted it.
Double standard.
But
You're a
it's-
double standard.
You're going to find out where this is all funneling from. The United States has an enemy. We have
an enemy, huh?
an enemy. It's the only enemy that I'm actually considering an enemy. We have people that are like, oh, like North Korea. They're like, oh, we are your enemy. Are you though?
You're more like, a
I
speed
get
bump.
that you finally have like ballistic missiles that can finally go across the ocean, but are you sure? Are you sure?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
The United States failing system would like to say hello.
So, China has been funneling a lot of nonsense through Mexico.
Oh, yeah.
Now, my bad, I have had to cough a lot.
Do you need to go drink something, my guy?
Bro's got some allergies going on.
So, no, it's not allergies. I just got a
Go
lot
get
of
that Claritin.
croup going down the back of my throat.
You gotta get that Allegra.
Allegra.
You gonna get that
No.
what?
Allegra.
Mm-hmm.
Who's the opposite of the Crimson Shin? Who's the bad guy version of him?
The Negachin.
Anyways, China is responsible for shipping a bunch of stuff through Mexico.
Mm-hmm.
They've pretty much admitted to doing so, and they're
Right.
using it against the United States, saying, hey, we'll help crack down on your drug war if you help us with some policies. And the United States is like, no. And then China's like, looks like that drug problem is going to keep going.
Mm-hmm.
And then Nancy Pelosi went to Taiwan, and that made China feel real good inside. So they've all but vacated any support for a drug war, which means they've pumped it super hard now. They're doing it because they're basically our global enemy.
Mhm.
They're trying to cripple us. How better to do it than to pump our nation full of drugs? You know, people dying to narcotics has increased more and more every year.
Mm-hmm.
It's becoming a very bad issue for the United States.
Mm-hmm.
Southern border has got so much fentanyl product coming across it, it's insane. And so when you got something this dire of a crisis, we're faced with, let's label these guys terrorists, let's take them out. But in trying to solve a problem and the desperation of coming up with a solution, we need to avoid creating another equal or greater problem than the one we solved. Storming Mexico with our military might create a bigger problem because we have a lot of healthy trading going on with Mexico. We deport tons of natural resources to Mexico, of course, for profit, but we do it because that's how nations trade with each other. Oil, liquefied natural gas, you name it. We trade it to them. They give us a ton of money. Whether or not that kind of money that we're getting from them is legitimate means.
Got to brush some powder off the money when you get it.
Yeah, but at the same time, that's the type of healthy relationship we have with Mexico, and that could come to a grinding halt if we invade them. It's not that we need the natural resources, they do, but we benefit from the trade because we get paid for these things. That can come to a halt. Obviously, we could be on bad scales with Mexico because we're jumping into their territory and blowing people out of the water in urban districts. And with how corrupt the government is, it might lead them to labeling us as a terrorist nation for crossing the border and taking out their problem kids, which they are.
Oh, I am so
and-
scared of Mexico labeling us as a terror nation.
Well, so like, there's more that can come from that. I in that particular case, in my opinion, in that particular case, that they would be justified in calling us a terrorist nation. For us to just willy-nilly label anyone that is a problem a terrorist is beginning to be. It's a practice that should not be happening a lot. Actually, terrorists. There's a definition of a terrorist, and it's very specific, and that's the reason why. These are not terrorists that are funneling fentanyl over. They're not terrorists. They're criminals. They're international criminals, but they are not terrorists.
Mhm.
And to just label them terrorists so that way we can get some sort of justification for hopping a border and attacking citizens in their streets, innocent citizens in their streets, is an outlandish practice that our government should not be doing. Even though that we've been doing it for decades, it is something that we should not be doing. They would be justified. We would be the bad guys.
Better their citizens than our citizens.
No, better no citizens.
That
So we find ourselves right now in the Senate with our hands tied as one wants to label them terrorists and the other does not. And so we sit here waiting to see what our government can do to help defeat all the drugs that are coming into our nation. Mexico is in a bad way right now because we don't know who's in charge. And it's all being funded by China.
I have a very unpopular opinion on how we can help this situation.
Switch places with Canada?
No, but that also would work.
Canada doesn't have problems because they have, as Daniel Tosh put it, the bulletproof Snuggie that is America, the United States, defending them from every problem they could ever have.
Daniel Tosh's description of that was just
I love
amazing.
the bulletproof Snuggie that is the United States.
yeah.
No, I was gonna say that the unpopular opinion is, we could just, I don't know, secure our borders.
I mean, yeah, but I mean, who's going to do that?
It's a whole lot better than labeling them terrorists and then invading yet another country.
But bro, we have all this multicam and desert stuff that we got from the last war that we still have.
Throw something at him right
Why
now.
not put it to use in another desert environment? Hey, the local food will be better this time. And besides, we're all trained to deal with non-potable water.
David says, "Leave my Canadian brother and his sisters out of this story." Sorry.
I'm just saying, I think our troops would have a great time if they could get authentic tacos at just right down the street from the fob.
What are you looking at there, bud?
Things and stuff. So
stuff.
that's that. That's my
Speaking of Mexicans, our
geopolitics.
tiny, toothless, tantrum-throwing tot has entered the chat. Hi, Taylor.
That didn't sound like you were working that hard for an alliteration, so I can appreciate that.
Got the perfect thing for her.
Da-da-da-da-da-da. What exactly are you looking for?
Check the group chat and you'll see.
Oh, should I?
She says that she's got turkey and grouse cooked on a campfire. I don't know how to respond to this.
That's enough to kill you. They look like Flintstone vitamins. She's probably talking about fentanyl.
Yeah.
Some nerd called Echo Light just sent me a bunch of TikToks.
Where is? Did you send methane or did she put something in our chat?
Yeah,
Okay, let me see.
the YMS skits and schedule.
Yeah, I'm reading stuff.
Word.
Word.
Thug life. It's the basic thug and knowledge.
Oh yeah, she sent a picture of the campfire.
I did not see that.
No, I saw my picture. I was quite happy with my picture.
I accidentally liked her picture. I need to remove that. Oh, Tony Leprechauns, RT YouTube chat won't do thing. Anthony Williams, Mexico, the homeland. That's enough to kill you. Looks like phones from vitamins. I'm here. Kenny Stewart.
Actually, I kind of want to look up
Kenny sends
place.
picture. Okay, moving on.
Brown.
But she's not.
She is inside.
Not gonna argue that. Vegeta, he stole your due. Sorry, I saw a clip of TFS. All right, so my topic. We got a new establishment in Pendleton.
¿Por qué?
This game, the game that's playing it's a old recording of me playing Call of Duty. Answering the chat. So we got a new establishment, of which we are going to frequent after the podcast. Not frequent, but we are going to go check out after the podcast. Okay. Now, I have a problem with this establishment. He rolls his eyes immediately. Here's my problem. It's a great idea. It's a great idea. I'm going to tell you what it is before I tell you what my problem is. It's an axe throwing place.
Oh, cool.
Yes. And it serves alcohol. So beer and axe chucking, what can go wrong? Actually, that's still not what I have the problem with. I think that's amazing, and I really do. Like, honest to God, we're going after podcasts. This is what I have a problem with. I have a problem with the name.
What is the name?
Hold on. Okay, now I have another problem with them.
They're closed.
Already?
I was afraid that was going to happen.
Why did 2 to 8 on that schedule? 2 to 8. What? 2 to who?
2 to 8.
They close at 8 o'clock, bro.
Darn.
Like literally right now.
Darn.
Mm-hmm.
I was actually really excited. I really wanted to go. My only problem with this establishment, other than the schedule now,
Mm-hmm.
is the name.
What is the name?
Letter Axe. LET'(R)AXE. Letter Axe.
Okay.
He's got a bone to pick with him.
I do. Why? Because it's absolute pathetic pandering is what it is.
Yeah, it's Pendleton.
It is dumb. It is so dumb. That is the dumbest name. I didn't like it when letter Uber came out because they were freaking pandering to the Pendleton Roundup.
It's Pendleton.
It's dumb, is what it is.
Yeah.
I could think of so many other names. I want a petition. I want a petition to get them to change their own business name.
I'm not going to sign this petition. That's dumb.
Just think about it. Think about it. We could have them change their name. Right off the top of my head, bury the hatchet.
You should and move on.
I will not. so, Kenny,
Me.
do you agree with me here? That is the dumbest name that they could have thought of.
Nope.
Okay, what's the dumbest name that they could have thought of? The Cheesecake Factory.
Tony's Bait and Tackle. You asked, and you received.
That is dumb. Letter Axe is a dumb name. They really missed the mark with it.
I think you're just on your own little angry island right now.
I am. You know why? Because it's just all the stupid freaking. You know what? Out of everything I've heard you complain about, I have never once made fun of you on it.
Yes, you have.
No, I haven't.
Yes, you have.
Name one.
Okay, you know I can't think when put on the spot like that.
Put you on the spot.
Yeah, you know I can't think like that.
He doesn't work well under pressure.
That's what she said.
Who?
That's kind of like a
All the
self-serving fat
hers.
joke.
Axe up.
Axe up.
That's what David said. He put it up there. Axe up.
Axe up. Huh?
No, it's Pendleton. It works perfect. It does not work perfect. It's dumb, is what it is. It's stupid, pathetic pandering from people who just want an easy way in. It's dumb. Letter Uber, letter Axe. It's dumb.
You got a rock in your shoe.
It is. The only reason why they're doing it is so that way they can get quick, easy approval from the city to be able to get. To be able to establish a business, and I think it's dumb to do that. Letter Chuck is just as dumb, David.
Letter Chuck's actually kind of cool.
That was at least funny.
Letter Chuck is better than letter Axe, but still, it's just as dumb. I don't care if he's arguing about it.
Hey, Ian, you know it'd be funny?
What'd be funny, Kenny?
Just for today on this podcast,
Mm-hmm.
Letter Studios.
Letter Studios.
I will shut this podcast down right now.
Thank you for joining us in another episode of Off the Rails for Letter Studios.
Mm-hmm.
I'm joined by my good friend Tony here at Letter Studios. Tony, what do you got to say today?
I'm just gonna unplug you now.
I can't even give commentary about how I've been unplugged. Am I back?
You're back.
Speaking through Ian's mic, I guess. Can you hear me?
Letter Axe is so dumb. It really is.
I don't know. It sounds just about as cool as Letter Studios. I remember when you first came out with that, Tony. You were so proud. Letter Studios.
Letter Studios.
Letter
That
Studios.
didn't even make any sense.
I love it when he
I
has
get-
conversations with the computer.
Yeah,
And just
he's
expects us
just
to
staring
know.
at the screen.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I guess Dusty over there is like, you got to be part of the club or you won't make it, which is dumb.
It is dumb, but at the same time, if that is the system, no matter how dumb the system is, it's not dumb to play the system to win. Because if that's the system you got, you might as well play it to win.
You know, plenty of businesses have been opened up in Pendleton without having to come up with a stupid name like
And
that.
plenty have closed and lost while not coming up with a stupid name like that. For such a niche thing as axe throwing,
It's actually not that niche. Around here, it would go great. Okay, well then you know what? Then he can name his business Letter Construction. Okay,
letter build.
Letter build.
that's still better than Letter Axe.
Letter build, letter chop.
Yeah, it's dumb.
Letter mad.
I really
Yes.
am. I really am mad about this.
Letter
Like
butt hurt.
genuine,
Letter
Genuine-
butt hurt. Yeah.
genuine anger.
I don't know how I
here.
feel about that name, but like, yes, but
Let her booty tickle.
I got genuine
Let it
anger
butt
here
hurt.
over this because plenty of like Whitey's Caramel Shop,
oh
dude.
man,
Whitey's Caramel Shop survived here for like 50 years. 50 years, and it had no problems.
and if he was just
Obviously
named
not,
Letter
because
Sweet,
the
he'd still be here.
Charburger, House Hamburger. House Hamburger has been
I
around.
don't even know what Charburger's still doing here.
Well, Charburger isn't here. Mac and Alley owns the property, and so that way he has parking. But he doesn't do anything with the Charburger anymore. But House Hamburger has been around forever.
Don't
The
think it-
Saddle,
the saddle gives money, and it plays in the whole road. You think, oh yeah, we're going down.
but
to
it's
the
still
saddle.
a better name than Letter whatever. That is
Letter
it
E.
is
Letter
literally
E? Is that what you said?
it is
Letter E?
it is literally the
Letter Cook.
lowest form of pandering that a business can do. And honestly, the axe throwing, the hatchet throwing business, especially because they serve beer, is a rising hobby in America. They would be fine without having to do this stupid bending the knee and licking the boot.
So I will disagree with you on one thing. That is not the lowest form of pandering a business can do.
That really is.
No, the lowest form of pandering a business can do is changing its logo to rainbow during Pride Month.
Wow.
That's
So
the
we
most
could come
fun
out
pandering.
with a tobacco chew and just call it Letter Chew.
I like it.
I really
Let her
actually
dip.
just want to slap you
Let her
right
dip.
now.
Hey, let her dip.
Letter Dip. That's also another good
It's
one.
not the fact that it's Western themed. You guys are not listening. It's a dumb name, and the only reason why they chose
You're not listening to me.
The only
It's
reason-
all conspiracy.
I
They're out to get me.
I don't care if it's Western themed.
You
Whitey's
guys are
Caramel
being
Shop, by the way,
manipulated
was
by
not
the Letter
Western themed.
microwaves.
Tony, let her go.
Let her go.
That was good. That was really good.
All right.
Big weapon, little target. Still much better name.
Big weapon, little target.
Also, that comment made no sense, Taylor. Get better at arguing.
Or you get better at reading.
No, it literally, like, we're talking about the names of things, and she's like, that's because, unlike you, people get better at throwing things when they drink. We're talking about business names and pandering to local government.
No, you're talking about pandering. I'm talking about Letter Chew and how amazing it's
I
going to
still
be.
think let her dip is better.
Depends.
Maybe release like pouches and then chew and then let her chew and then let her dip. Got you. I got you.
No. Diaper company. Let her go.
Boo.
No, no.
Let her crap. Let her know.
No. I was going to say let her go.
Let her go.
Introducing Melton's new diaper brand. Let her go.
I thought that would be the name for the new funeral parlor. Let her go.
Let her go. Oh man, I just soiled myself.
That's
but
it. That's what we're
luckily,
gonna do. We're
I
gonna
was
go
secure
down.
with my Let Her Go brand
We're
diapers.
going to go down and petition that Burns Mortuary changes their name to Let Her Go.
Yes.
That's dark. That's super dark.
Let her
Why
die.
not? According to you guys, it's perfectly okay to do that.
Yeah.
We're gonna celebrate Grandma's funeral at Let Her Go Mortuary. I think it's perfect.
Ian's like, or David put out, let her ignore Ian.
Let her ignore Ian.
Yeah.
Let her ignore Dave. Instead of a let her go mortuary, instead of a casket, they just strap her to a saddle and throw her in a hole. Enjoy the long ride, sister.
They get like a mechanical bull and they put the cadaver on it and watch it fling around until it finally falls off. It's like,
Just ratchet straps it to the bull.
no. It doesn't have to ratchet strap. Just it naturally falls off eventually, and they're
Yes.
like, it was her last
It
ride.
was our last ride.
Well,
Tired of the saddle, throw her
That's
down the
what?
hole.
hey, I've done over 200 funerals. I think I can say things
Slap a
like-
letter bump sticker on her and throw her down the hole.
Slide into the casket sideways. It's been a good ride.
Yeehaw.
Yeehaw, indeed.
Throws you down the hole with a complimentary Woolen Mills blanket wrapped around you.
So, if you guys were generals in an army, and you had absolute control of your faction's military might, what kind of strategies or themes, infrastructure, technologies do you think you would specialize in? What do you think you'd be known for? Would you be Ian, the devastator of small arms fire? Would you be Tony, thrower of nukes?
That's a good question. I've thought of this before. I have considered this a time or two. Like, if I was a general, how would I run my army and such?
Well, let me start with this. What would your specialization be? What do you think you would be pushing more towards as an army?
Okay, what time period are we talking? Are we talking modern day? What are we? I need to know when so I can choose what I'm specifying and like what my technology level is at, where I'm at in the world, what is my terrain, what are my natural resources.
So you'd be focused on terrain and natural resources?
But that affects my decision, what I've got to work with. You know, if I
Generals need to be able to deploy globally. You can't always guarantee what your terrain is.
agree.
Generals are often known for their strategies, their specializations, long before they reach the battlefield. I'll give you an example. A general that specializes in Air Force.
Well,
He's
no,
known about his air power.
but
That's a specialization.
okay, yes. But what I'm saying is, what I'm a general in an army. What are my country's resources? What does my country have? Are we talking a United States style military, or are we talking a North Korean?
I'll let you pick. It really doesn't bother me either way.
Okay, so if we're doing that, General Ian Bailey specializing in Tier 1 teams and mechanized warfare.
Tier 1 teams and mechanized warfare, huh?
Anything that the scalpel can't get done, the hammer shall.
Tier 1 teams and mechanized infantry. So
I'm
just
talking-
really fast infantry.
I'm talking Abrams. I'm talking.
That's not mechanized infantry, that's cavalry.
I said mechanized warfare.
Excuse me. Cavalry. I'm going to get those two words confused a lot.
I did not say mechanized infantry. I said Tier 1 units and mechanized warfare.
You said mechanized infantry.
I did not say mechanized
But you
infantry.
did. We were going to listen to this podcast back.
Did I say mechanized infantry or mechanized warfare?
You think I would be paying attention right now?
We're going to watch this back. I'll make you a bet. I will make you a bet. When this thing publishes, I will bet you all of the ones in this pocket right here.
I don't have the money to go back to that, dude. I don't have the money to lose on that.
Okay, well then we'll just lose my money.
Okay.
I'll bet you that pile of
Fine.
cash right there. You said mechanized infantry first.
And I said mechanized warfare.
You said mechanized infantry. We'll
Okay.
come back to that. Anyways, why do you want to be Tier 1 teams in mechanized warfare?
Because, I mean, there ain't much that,
Maybe someone in the comments caught it.
there ain't much that Abrams can't do. But what it can't do, a couple platoons of, really good Tier 1 dudes can do. I'm thinking I'd probably have like my of course you have your standing infantry, but I'm thinking I'd probably have my Tier 1 teams divided up into like probably 3 or 4 different.
Wow, David, way to kill the whole conversation by taking it super serious. It's talking about international law. Stop.
Don't know, don't care. It's the Geneva checklist of my army.
I had classes with Dusty. I don't remember being in a class with Dusty.
So
I have no idea what class I would have been in with him. I wasn't even much around in my latter years in high school. I went to school at the same time. That doesn't mean we were in the same classes. Okay, our people in the chat are saying both things. What was the very first thing Ian said when it was brought up? The very first thing he said.
First thing I asked was, what kind of resources am I talking about?
No, when you first said tier 1 and mechanized blank. And then David says, why would you have your infantry standing there? That makes them easy targets.
I wouldn't.
I'm looking at this through a very entertaining lens. I'm not too worried about, and I'll straight up say it, reality.
Mm-hmm.
If let's say, okay, let's say it like this: if you were a video game general and someone logged in and like, I want to play this guy, what perks you getting? What's your specialty? What's your strategies?
Okay.
What kind of army you running? Oh my goodness. I'm just gonna sit in Tony's spot because I have to keep moving spots in order to read the chat.
Honestly, my brain now is going to like risk type things where you got like you got your different tiers of units and interesting. I don't know. I probably want my guy to focus on
And can you explain for the audience at home what tier 1 units are?
tier 1 units is like special forces. We're looking. I was, Navy SEALs, Delta Force, things of that like.
Okay.
My thought process would be, I would at first try to disable my enemy with surgical swift strikes. Try to end the conflict as quickly as possible, deploying tier 1 units to either. I would definitely have an element of sappers trained to tier 1 specifications whose specialty is destroying enemy infrastructure, power lines, roads, water, bridges. Do you want me to wait so you can listen?
Hold on. Go ahead and keep going. I'm trying to keep the microphone away from my face while I'm
And so that would be my initial specialization would be in just the baddest dudes I could find who could get behind enemy lines, assassinate high-ranking personnel in the opposing force, really just play havoc and make them just super soft, and then roll through with a really heavy mechanized battalion of just absolute monsters in the Abrams and tanks and just destroy whatever's still standing.
David says, so everyone is required to be special forces or SEALs?
No. That would be probably a quarter of my standing army would be trained to SF standards.
Okay.
Because, like I said, first.
So you're going to specialize in infantry?
No, because it's kind of a 1-2. If the tier 1 can't get the job done, can't either do a say I'm invading a country, and I would deploy my tier 1 elements ahead of all and be like, hey, either hit this so hard that they pull a World War II France and surrender, or maybe pull a coup d'etat and just straight up install a new leader before I even get there.
David says a quarter. That's still a hilarious amount.
Well,
Special forces.
We were not. You're asking.
He's still looking at it through the lens of reality and whatnot, as he's geared towards.
Understandable. I mean, I'm not a soldier.
That's fine. I'm not looking for realism. I want magic.
Well,
So, if you were a general, your perk would be tier 1 forces with mechanized warfare.
with mechanized backing, if they don't get it done, my army of tanks is gonna roll through the streets and just bulldoze it to the ground. If I can't have it, no one can.
Tanks are not good at occupying, though.
That's why I will have infantry, but
What kind of technology would you have just besides tanks?
I mean, we're probably looking standard United States level stuff. Drones, helicopters. I wouldn't want to use Humvees. I would want to use a different sort of mobile ground vehicle because Humvees suck for like any sort of actual like road thing because they're not designed to actually like be driven on roads at any sort of speed. And so I would probably want a newer vehicle for my standard, guys driving around kind of thing instead of the Humvee. Helicopters, I'd probably want Apaches, Chinooks, and Blackhawks.
Oh yeah.
I want my troop carriers. I want my general
You
purpose.
did in fact say warfare.
Thank you, sir.
I went back and found that specific spot in the stream, listened to it. Yeah, you said it. Somehow I got confused and thought you were talking about infantry.
It's all good. And I mean, it'd probably be like probably bring in my infantry with my mechanized guys if I ever had to occupy something. But the goal would initially be tier 1 to either cause them to surrender without a fight beyond what the tier 1 would do, or just straight up pull a coup d'etat and just change power to someone who will acquiesce to my wishes. Because every government has the malcontent guy who wishes I could do it. And be like, hey, all right, we'll let you run it as long as you do what we tell you. You'll be our puppet, but you'll still live a life of power and luxury.
So, David says drones are standard now, and he wants to go to that school. Time meow. Which, the amount of power that you can get through a drone, through just intelligence, terrain acquisition, and then the shoot from a distance aspect, it's all incredible for drones.
Oh, yes.
And you're not sacrificing a life to do so.
Agreed.
So that is some pretty baller stuff. The reason I brought this up is because there's this game I really like.
XCOM?
It's not XCOM, although I really do like XCOM. This game is called Command and Conquer Generals.
I'm listening.
It's an RTS. You scroll on a screen, such as your laptop or whatnot. And when you do so, unfortunately my laptop went to sleep for some odd reason. Super unfortunate. So, there's an expansion called 0 Hour where they come out with specific generals to each faction. And those generals have specialties and certain technologies they like to use. I'll give you a rundown of a couple, and by a couple I mean every single one, and see where you think you fall in the spectrum. There's 3 factions.
Okay.
There's the USA, China, and the GLA. GLA is basically the terrorist cells.
Okay, I think we know which one falls.
So USA, China, terrorist cells. Let me explain, because you might find yourself on different lines according to what it is they specialize in.
Okay.
Not that the U.S. can't specialize in literally anything it wants to in warfare, but they don't get all of it just because of the game balance mechanic. Gotta
Otherwise,
come over here and
everyone's
check
gonna
the
use US.
thingy. No worries, Kenny. Mechanized infantry is a more common team than mechanized warfare. I've rarely heard the latter. What I have been told, and I don't know if you know this, kind of difficult to talk about these things. I was once told that typically in large-scale war movements, it's typically a tank general or a general of mechanized unit that is usually in charge, not infantry commanders. And the reason, I don't exactly remember what the reason was, but I thought that was a fun detail, is that it's typically it's mechanized commanders that are in charge of large-scale movements and whatnot, not infantry commanders. I'll write it in the chat for you so you can see it, David. It's not an incredibly realistic game, but I find it incredibly fun. It's also an older game. It's much older. I think it came out in 2005.
Whoa.
But it's still really good.
Well, you talk about, you mentioned terror cells, and my brain goes to guerrilla warfare, and I do have a fair amount of knowledge about that. I have studied that, and I find guerrilla warfare and asymmetrical warfare very interesting. So the idea of maybe specializing in something like that, being less of a conventional 4-star chest thumping general, and more of
there you go. Oh, I thought he was asking about what game I was talking about, not the one that was playing on the live stream. Or maybe, I don't know. I put it out there anyways. That's the game I'm talking about. So in Zero Hour, like I said, there's 3 factions. There's the United States, there's China, and there's the GLA, the Global Liberation Army, which it's the terrorist cells. It's really what it is. So China.
China.
China is supposed to be like the Horde faction. They're all about mass troops outnumbering the enemy.
They're just gonna throw enough bodies at you.
And then
to
they
do it.
typically for their weapons, they use a lot of radiological weapons, radiation. They use nuclear factories, things like that. The United States is the technology faction. They're all based on like high-end technologies, using cold fusion reactors. There's not anything necessarily added to their equipment. They just have superior equipment. But certain generals have other things that get added. The GLA, they're about guerrilla warfare. They're about stealth. They're about adding poisons to their units, like anthrax.
Okay, see, the way you described it earlier, I didn't realize like guerrilla warfare was an option, because I'll definitely go to that, because that I can actually give myself like specific buffs. Like can I go off for a second? Now that I actually know that that's an option, because like I can actually like specialize in this. I know what I would want to specialize in.
Oh, I can't quite. Tony's not here, unfortunately, so being able to fix Ian's echo is probably going to have to require mics going away. This one has to be turned off. Did you turn that one on?
It's been on.
Oh, you're just going to use Tony's now?
Maybe
Okay.
see if that works.
We're going to put Tony's over here so it's not catching us.
What do you say, chat? Do I sound better?
We'll see if that changes, and I'll try and stay away from Ian a little bit more so that I'm not catching him on my mic either to help with the echo.
So,
Now, you're fine. It's about time she said something. She's been over there quiet as a mouse.
she's in fact not quiet as a mouse.
So, our first USA general is called General Towns. His strategy is lasers. He's going with the theme of technology-based faction. General Towns uses laser tanks. Their tanks outfitted with giant lasers on top.
I'm sensing a vibe.
He has greater power with his laser weaponry, but his laser weaponry doesn't run off of ammo. And I said but as if there was a detriment to that. The reason why that's a detriment is because instead of ammo, it's based off of his power grid.
So
if you can strike his power grid or bring down his power, his
He's-
tanks go down too,
Ooh.
which is a huge problem for you in the middle of combat. Because
So-
if you're fighting and someone, either a terrorist cell spawns in and blows up a cold fusion reactor, or the China sends a plane over and bombs his power plants, all of a sudden in the middle of battle, his tanks just and they stop working entirely.
yeah, no, I can think of some ways to make that easy as a guerrilla fighter terrorist guy. Yeah, I can think of several ways to make that not.
Tony had to step away for a little bit.
So. Next general.
So the next general we have is Malcolm Granger, still United States, and he's an Air Force general. He specializes in Air Force, specifically air defense, not defending against the air,
Using
defending
air
his
for-
air troops.
Okay.
So he's got laser defense grids that defend him from incoming rockets.
What is with these people and lasers?
It's so when a rocket is chasing after one of his planes, they have a defense grid that will zap the rocket and blow it up before impact.
Nice. So it's kind of like a phalanx, but with lasers
Yeah.
instead of got that. That's kind of cool. Not gonna lie.
So he's pretty formidable. The community seems to unanimously agree that he's not necessarily the overall best general, but he is the most preferred.
He's a good pick.
It's difficult. It also depends on perspective, context, and things as to which general you'd want. But statistically, he's the best running general.
Odds are you get him, you're gonna have a good time.
Yeah, and it's nice having air superiority in any conflict, even in real life. But then having such valuable equipment with laser grid defenses, where if you try to like take a SAM missile to it, it just
Yeah.
it just one taps it with a laser and it detonates away from itself. That's really nice. He also is a general that gets the carpet bomb really early. He gets the carpet bomber. He not only gets a carpet bomb really early, but he gets a stealth bomber that does the carpet bombing for him. So as a perk point early in the game, he can start carpet bombing people ridiculously early, which is absurd in this game. It has perk points every time you rank up as a general. You go to a 1-star, 2-star, things like that. You get perks granted by the general. His earliest one is a stealth bomber doing carpet bombs on the enemy, which is absurd. It's unbelievable, and it makes him a go-to. The next
Hey,
one, the
Daddy,
last
what's
one-
that black triangle in the sky?
So the last one for the USA team is General Alexis Alexander. She is the super weapon general. Now, you know how we're still doing with the theme of lasers, right?
Laser. Is she doing like the space laser?
She's doing a space laser. You're
Jeez.
absolutely right. Her super weapon is a daggum space laser. Now, when I first started playing this game, she was my favorite one. And I'll tell you why. It's not just because her super weapon, all generals, all their super weapons cost $5,000. Okay, so it's the most expensive thing that you can buy for your faction. It's your super weapon. For the U.S., it's called the particle cannon. It fires. Basically, it looks like a satellite antenna. Comes out of the ground, like a chamber opens up. It sticks out of the ground. Fires up to a satellite. The satellite's got a mirror on it. It bounces off, and then you can direct it. And you can basically do scorch earth. Like there's one time I wrote my name in an enemy's base.
That is amazing.
But for her, it costs half. It's only $2,500.
Oh, so you got this all day, every day.
So you can literally buy your super weapon very early with her. It's incredible. Also, and my favorite part about being her is not necessarily that her super weapon's cheap. Her defense grid is awesome. Because all of the U.S. generals have Patriot missile systems, which is already a phenomenal defense system.
Oh, yeah.
But hers come equipped with EMP rockets. I don't even know how that works. I don't know if that's a real thing, but upon detonation, they shut down enemy vehicles.
Technically, they work. They're real.
They don't. It doesn't increase the damage to them. It doesn't make it to where they die earlier. It just means they shut down.
And I mean,
And
whether it's a piece of rubble or it's just not working and a dead
it's
vehicle,
amazing.
a dead vehicle.
It's because if you keep hitting him with it, it keeps him down. It basically takes an enemy vehicle out of the game as long as it's being shot. So it could be a big old Overlord tank from the Chinese faction. Doesn't matter. Pew! It is down, and it's just going to keep pewing it until eventually it dies. Which it shouldn't take that long because it's rockets. It'll get like 3 rounds in and then finally it'll die. But it's hilarious to see someone like, I'm going to come in and take him down. And oh, well, this sucks. I think I just auto lose.
And yeah, and the best part is since they shut down, they can't flee either.
Yeah,
They're
they
just
just sit
stuck
there and
there
get
taking
dead.
it.
And what's awesome about that, one of my favorite parts, is that against aircraft, it's an auto kill.
Oh, yeah.
Because if a plane goes over and gets hit by that rocket, oh no!
Yeah, there's no way you recover that. Now
And
you're
you can
going
see
down.
why there's like a huge love-hate relationship between Malcolm Granger, the Air Force general, and General Alexis Alexander, the super weapon general, because they have each other's weaknesses. Missile defense versus EMP.
That's
it's
amazing.
Hilarious. And then the final thing that she gets as a super weapon general is the U.S. faction gets Aurora bombers, but she gets an upgraded version called the Alpha Aurora bomber, where she drops basically mini Moabs
Okay.
on enemy bases. And what's cool about in this game, and of course this is a fictional game, so it works off of game mechanics with real names of vehicles, but how they function in the game is for game balancing reasons and different things. The Aurora Bomber cannot be attacked. While it's delivering the payload, it is immune to enemy attacks because it's supposed to be so fast it can't be targeted. So it flies across the map super fast. Nothing can target it. Even if it tries to shoot, it will just fall behind. After it drops the payload, though, its speed is reduced by 50%, so it can basically get killed by anything.
But at that point, it
It's
doesn't
basically
even matter.
what it's saying is that this thing can guarantee it will drop its payload. But with her, that matters because with every other faction, it's like, oh, it's a bigger than normal missile. But with her, it's a mini Moab. It's a mother of all bombs.
So
She will rock the ground of everything in the enemy base. It's awesome. What's going on with the chat so far? Because I haven't caught up with it in a second. You still get better at where did Tony go? Tony, how I started playing. If I were a general, I'd use laser pointers to blind the enemy. Haha. It's lagging really bad for me, so I'm going to get off. Have fun, you guys, and enjoy the rest of your evening, and I will see y'all next week. Actually, I'd use a high-pitched noise to annoy the younger soldiers. The old guys in the charge won't react and become confused. This will help identify them and make them easy targets. Assuming the older guys are the higher-ranking people, which is...
Did he just weaponize tinnitus?
something like that. He weaponized being old.
As someone with tinnitus, I feel attacked.
Or being young, I should say. Let's move on to the Chinese generals.
Oh, yeah.
What? I didn't even look at the time. What is the time we got going on so far? Wow. Is that really our time? What, am I looking at the right thing?
No, that's average duration. 1:11.
Okay. I thought we were almost done. I was like, what? How did the time fly by so fast?
I'm glad when you're talking about war.
China. The first one
China.
is General Ta Hun Kwai. He is the tank general.
Is he now?
He is known for highly advanced Battlemaster tanks and Overlord tanks. Now, the Battlemaster tanks are basically really powerful skirmisher, lightweight, easy maneuverability tanks. And then the Overlord tanks are what happens when warfare meets video games, and you get this like comically large. It has 4 tread tracks. It's so
Okay.
big. It's double barreled, okay? It's got one on each side. And then you can place a Gatling turret on its back, a propaganda sender on its back, or you can put a bunker on its back. So
Baller.
it gets ridiculous. And after progressing and learning the game and growing up after years, he's become my new favorite general. Because I like just running over people with tanks. In my adult
How very
life,
Chinese of you.
I like it because if I get one of each, I feel like just the 3 Overlord tanks, I could probably take down an entire base by just those 3. It's the most powerful single ground unit in the game.
Okay.
If I get one with a propaganda center, I get one with a bunker, and I get one with a Gatling turret on its back, all 3 of them in one squad, I'm bulldozing. The physics in this game works as such. Against infantry and aircraft, the Gatling turret on the back is really powerful. The tanks themselves can't actually engage air targets, but the Gatling turret can.
So that's
So-
pretty much your air.
So
your
that's my air
anti-air.
defense. The propaganda center, the top of it, it's basically a tower. It heals my units.
Nice.
So when he's around, my guys are constantly healing.
Including your other 2 tanks?
And then, yes, including my other 2 tanks. Then the bunker guy, he can fit infantry inside his bunker. I pick rocket troopers. He can fit 5 rocket troopers in the back of himself.
Oh,
So he will go boom, boom, fires 2 main guns, and then the rocket troopers will all fire simultaneously, and there's 5 rockets flying at the enemy. They can also engage air targets.
Oh, so you... Oh, okay. That's broken.
So I got, and the Gatling turret that's on the back, it's got 2 spin barrels on either side of itself. So when they wind up, it's both of them shooting at air targets. And then the bunker's got 5 rocket troopers engaging air targets too, if they need to.
And they're being constantly killed by
Healed.
propaganda.
Yes.
That is amazing.
So that's my favorite strategy. It's difficult to defeat. It truly is. When you see that coming towards your base, you better throw everything you have at it, because if it gets there, it's the lights out.
The only way I can see that beating that is that American superweapon general calling in that space laser just to carve that.
That would
thing out.
definitely kill it outright. That might be overkill, actually. There are ways to defeat it. It's very difficult to face with your own troops. Like if you were
Yeah.
to fight me with your own troops, it would be like, oh no, you have to use a general perk. You have to bring in a carpet bomber. You have to send in your air force and bomb it with everything you had.
Mhm.
It's expensive to deal with, but it can be dealt with. The
How
next Chinese general is General Xing Shi Tao, and he is the nuke general.
Oh, is he?
He is all about nuclear power, giving radioactive shells to his tanks, so that even if he doesn't kill, he basically gives cancer to enemies. Like super fast acting cancer that kills people. It's kind of like a condition that your troops will get. Like, oh, you've been hit with radiation. You're about to die. As you watch your health slowly tick down. Almost like a poison, basically, is what it's acting like. And he can irradiate the ground around people that he's hit, too.
That's awesome.
And he has his airplanes drop mini nukes. Like Fat Boys.
That is amazing.
And they don't have the bonus of being untargetable like the Aurora bomber, unfortunately. But it's hilarious to watch them drop on enemy troops because they'll fly like spaghetti monster style through the air. And then his last thing is that China's super weapon is a nuclear missile. It's straight up. It's a nuclear missile.
I mean, there ain't nothing wrong with whipping out an ICBM to let them know who's boss.
So, but from his nuke silo, he gets 2 upgrades that he can switch back and forth between. He can't have them both simultaneously activated, but he gets 2 perks he can pick from. One is called neutron shells, where his nuke cannon, which is like it's a movable artillery platform in a truck. It shoots very far. That and his mini nuke MiGs.
Mm-hmm.
That's his 2 options. He can have the mini nuke MiGs, where he can fly by and drop mini nukes, or his artillery platforms can fire neutron shells. And what that means is that instead of destroying vehicles, he wipes out instantly all crew from any platform,
Including your big tanks?
including my big tanks if he really wanted to. So if he's had it sitting there as a base defense and it has longer range and it was sitting there to defend and it saw my tanks rolling up, tanks aren't very fast, it would lob a neutron shell over there, boom, all 3 of them, no crew. Just like that, defeated. It's insane. So
Sounds kind of broken.
that's what he gets. And then his nuclear reactors are more efficient and give more power. The last Chinese general is General Anvil Shinfei. Anvil is his nickname. He is the infantry general. China's the faction that's all about the horde, about outnumbering your enemy.
They're just gonna mob you to death.
So, but instead of, because normally when China produces a soldier, they produce 2 soldiers. No other faction does that. He doesn't do that. He gets 1 soldier. In this game, normal infantry, not rocket infantry, normal infantry can't engage air units. His can.
Oh,
And
what?
they're super effective.
So-
His infantry are actually hyper lethal against aircraft. It flips the whole power dynamic on its head.
So if that American Air Force general shows up, he's in for a bad day.
All of his infantry, every single one, his most basic unit is a minigunner. They carry
broken.
spin barrel miniguns into battle. They start off any fight super slow, but if they get going, they will start tearing anything apart. And he can make them super fast, super easy, low cost. And then his he doesn't have tanks though, is the thing. He doesn't have particularly good infrastructure. He doesn't have any tanks at all. He gets what's called armored troop transports.
Armed
Or
personnel carriers.
APCs, armored personnel carriers. They can carry up to 10 troops. So you can have 10 minigunners, which is comical to think about, 10 minigun wielding dudes in the same truck. And they can all sit there in this troop personnel carrier and just go around the battlefield, light everything up like a bunch
That's
of drunk
amazing.
idiots. He's really good at rushing people.
Mm.
He's really good at, because your barracks is one of the first things you can build. It's super inexpensive. You can literally start the game, all of a sudden he's got his barracks up. Now he's producing minigunners nonstop.
So if you don't shut him down early, you're in for a bad time.
Yeah, he gets up and running. His peak performance is not very high. The best he can do isn't necessarily insanely good, but he's really good at blitzing people.
His best isn't that good, but he can get there faster than
Yeah,
anyone
he can
else.
get there. But he doesn't have a high top speed, but his acceleration is phenomenal, and he can start harassing you very early in the game with troops that are very difficult for you to deal with. It's very easy for him to just, and I've won. Because he's got minigunners in your base and they're harassing your guys and you can't do anything. Let's move on to the GLA. The first general of the GLA is Dr. Thrax.
Gee, I wonder what he specializes in, Kenny.
He specializes in biological warfare.
Dr. Thrax specializes in biological warfare. You don't say.
So he's all about upgrading Anthrax to Gamma Thrax.
Gamma Thrax. Pray tell, what
yes.
is Gamma Thrax?
He can do toxic clouds, and he can engulf your whole base in it, which really sucks. For him, it's a plane will fly over, drop a bomb on the enemy base, and a toxic cloud will fill the whole base. And if you send anyone out that's basically not a tank, they die immediately.
That's
And even then, it
awesome.
slowly chews through their armor. He's very annoying. He gets upgraded toxic tractors. They're honestly not that good because they just go around like splooging acid pools at people. It's not deadly. Oh, what's cool is that he upgrades his tanks with anthrax shells, so he can wipe out anything. Just be like, oh, I hit a tank, but now the crew is suffering from poison. So
Good luck, kids.
good luck. If he's fighting normal infantry, usually it's very difficult to hit infantry with a shell. But because he spreads toxin clouds with his shells, like, oh, hey, he missed. And now I'm dead because I got a whiff of that anthrax. It's difficult for even troops to survive against his mechanized units. The super weapon for the GLA is called the Scud Launcher. It's a weapon platform with 9 Scud missiles on it.
Oh, no.
They all raise up. It looks like a star. They all raise up at the same time and then go pew, 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 pew. And then you just look at the other side of the map where he's firing at, and you one at a time. It's just rain of death.
Awesome.
And that naturally spreads anthrax to the enemy base.
Of course it does.
So he's not one of the most popular ones, unfortunately. He kind of gets picked on a lot, but he's got a lot of personality
If
as
he's
one of the
used right, he
characters.
sounds like he'd be very effective.
Uh,
Also, he sounds like he'd be very effective against the infantry guy.
he's very good against the infantry guy because all of his guys are toxin troops, and they basically have like poison throwers. He just sits there with like fire hose guns that just shoot poison at the enemies. And poison in this game insta kills infantry. So the minigunners, their weakness is that they have a low spin up time. So it's difficult for them to engage immediately. Whereas the toxin troops can just go and you're dead.
So yeah, no, that sounds like Dr. Thrax is literally Anvil's hard counter.
Yeah, he kind of is. He truly is. Prince Kassad is the next general for the GLA. He's
Okay.
the stealth general.
Ooh, okay.
He's annoying because most everything he has is stealth, and in the game of 0 hour, that means that you can't target it. It's not visible to you on the map, and even if you knew it was there, you can't target it with your troops. You can't click on it and make your targets shoot it. You can do a force fire function and pick a point on the map and make them force fire into that point, but you can't actually select the object as a target. It won't show up on your map. It won't show up on your screen. Like, it won't be available for you to see. And even if you, for some reason, magically knew it was there, you couldn't even target it.
That is great.
His structures are like that. His structures are weak. A lot of his units have this stealth. Even his workers have this. His basic functioning workers that build buildings and whatnot have this feature. He can even build stealth demo traps, where if your units drive by them, they'll blow up and you guys
So
will die.
Basically, IED.
Yeah. He's
I like
a
it.
super entertaining general to run, but he's a very delicate general because if you do him right, he's terrifying and he's hard. But if you do him wrong, you
tip
get
your hand, you're screwed.
yeah. You do not want to do direct combat with him.
No,
He doesn't get tanks. He doesn't get tanks. He has no form of staying power. He can't occupy very well.
No, he's hit and run.
He's very much hit and run. He gets what's called hijackers and terrorists. Terrorists in this game are basically demo guys. They go around and blow themselves up.
So he's
He can upgrade them into terrorists on bikes. So you get terrorists that can just get on motorcycles and go across the map and then go into a trail of tanks and blow them all up.
that's amazing.
And then his hijackers can go to enemy vehicles and take them over.
Yo,
So he can't get tanks, but he can take tanks.
he doesn't get tanks.
It's like, oh,
He
that's a
can't.
nice Overlord tank you got there. It would suck if, oh, it's mine now.
Darn.
Sucks, man. You know, I was just thinking it would really suck for you if you lost this Overlord and that one and that one.
Darn shame, kiddo.
The very last one is Radal Demo Jaziz.
I wonder what demo does.
He's all about blowing things up.
No.
Yes. He, in my opinion, is the worst general because he doesn't have a whole lot of flavor. He really doesn't. He's got super powerful demo traps. He's got increased scud launchers platforms.
Mhm.
But his best thing is every faction, even in Red Alert, this is just a theme in these games. They have each faction's super soldier.
Mm-hmm.
For the United States, they have Colonel Burton. He's got a minigun.
Mm-hmm.
He's got but he can't engage air targets for whatever reason. But he's got a minigun. He can place explosives and he can do stealth kills, so he
Mhm.
doesn't get revealed. All super units are naturally stealthed, but Colonel Burton's the only one that can kill people while stealthed. But it has to be a melee kill.
Mm-hmm.
So he can go around melee killing, and they have to be infantry too. He can
Okay.
go around melee killing infantry, and people will be like, "What's going on? Like, why are my guys just dropping dead?"
Mm.
Because they can't see him on their screen. Or he can just all of a sudden go and start nailing something dead. He can place explosives, either
Okay.
timed or remotely detonated. China gets what's called the Black Lotus.
Mhm.
She can either steal cash from the enemy,
Mm-hmm.
which cash is very important in these type of games
It's
because
it's your resource.
yes, she can steal cash from the enemy. She can capture enemy buildings,
Oh no.
or she can lock down enemy units. Like those units are disabled for a little bit, and then she's a non-combat unit though. She can't do any form of combat. She can lock down units. She can capture buildings. She can steal enemy supplies. GLA, they get what's called the Jarmankel. He's a sniper.
Mm-hmm.
He can insta-kill enemies at long range if they're infantry, which doesn't sound that good, but his special ability is called crew kill. It takes a little bit for the cooldown time, which is unfortunate. He's kind of the most underwhelming of them all, because what he does is you can click crew kill, pick an enemy vehicle, he kills the crew of that vehicle.
Okay, that's pretty cool though.
But it takes a long time for it to cool down. If you get approached by a bunch of enemy vehicles, you can kill one of them, and then he has to run away. He's stealth, so that keeps him safe for the
You
most
only
part.
get one of them.
You only get one. So if you
Okay.
produce one super soldier, you can't produce any more until that one dies.
Okay.
But the demo Jarmankel gets Colonel Burton's demo stuff on him, which makes awesome. Because he can sit there, he can literally pick apart any faction's infantry. He can
Mhm.
sit from anywhere on the map and just be like, it sure would suck for you to die.
Man, that's a real nice battalion you're leading there, bud. Be a real shame if you weren't.
All the infantry are dead. Hey, there's a tank right there. Not anymore.
Mm-hmm.
And what's really cool about him is he sets up, especially if you're fighting computer, he sets up what's called the it's a very simple thing. You would, for some reason, I can't think of what it's called.
What does it do?
Bait. He sets up really good bait because when there's not a crew for a vehicle, any infantry from any faction, if they walk up to it, they can occupy the vehicle, and now it becomes that faction's vehicle, regardless of who it originated with.
All right.
So anyone can go to it. Well, if someone wants to reclaim their vehicle, they send infantry. Jarmankel insta-kills infantry. So he sits there, kills the crew of a vehicle, and then he just waits, and he puppy guards it. And then everyone's sending infantry all around, and he just pew, 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 one-shotting all these infantry guys.
Mm-hmm. That's amazing.
That is your 9 generals.
I would want to be the stealth guy.
Stealth guy.
Stealth guy.
Stealth guy.
Yeah. You know, terrorists on bikes, stealing vehicles, hit and runs. That I feel like I could run that pretty well.
There's a guy I watch on YouTube. This is kind of a shout out to him. His name is Legionnaire, I believe. And he does competitive Command and Conquer games.
Okay.
I watched this game where he was playing the stealth general, and he was incredible with him.
Mm-hmm.
His best thing he did is he got a hijacker on a bike,
Mm-hmm.
and he sat at the back end of the enemy base, and he just waited. He bided his time. He was fighting a USA team.
Mm-hmm.
In the USA, they get dozers. China, they get kind of mini dozers. And then the GLA, they get slave workers. So
Mm-hmm.
the USA builds their buildings faster. China's second fastest. GLA, they build them the slowest.
Mm-hmm.
However, GLA is really good at taking what they want instead of working for it.
Mm-hmm.
So
They tactically acquire.
what they did is he was trying to fortify his rear defenses, so he sent a dozer over to build a rear defense system.
and so he just took
And
the dozer.
when he took his hijacker, drove right up to it, took the dozer. But when you take a dozer in the enemy's position, they just destroy the dozer, so you can't use it. So what does he do? Well, this is kind of a thing of the game. No matter where your dozer is, you can make plans for a building construction site anywhere on the map.
Oh.
So he goes back to his map and he starts clicking like build this, build this, build this, build this, build this, and he's like, all right, I'll get to it. I got 8 things in the queue, and they destroy the dozer, and he's like, doesn't matter. And he makes his workers work on the building plans, even though
That
the
is
dozer got destroyed.
awesome.
So now he becomes stealth general with U.S. mix. He's controlling both factions because he got all of the U.S. buildings built on his property.
That is broken.
So now he's, I don't even remember which U.S. general it was, but he was rocking U.S. and that's what the stealth general is really good at, is he's like, all right, that's mine now. And now I'm both of us. Now you're fighting you with a little bit of me. And you don't even see me. It is beautiful. One of my favorite things about him is he gets what's called an ambush. Most GLA generals get it, but his is a little bit bigger, and his troops are naturally stealth anyways. But there's kind of this weird mechanic in the game where if you ambush in the middle of enemy vehicles, units can't coexist on the same spot in the game, so it just kills everything in that spot. But if the enemy is marching at you with a column of tanks and you ambush in the middle of the tanks, the game's like, all right, everyone there's dead. So it's like, for the dude that had the tanks, like, that's not a fair trade. You just sacrificed infantry for all my tanks because the game doesn't want them to exist in the same spot. So the stealth general's like, I don't know, it sucks, I guess. I'm like, oh.
Man, you should be ashamed if your entire, tank column just stops being.
Disappeared because, physics. Because really, when he does an ambush, you just pick a spot in the map, and all of a sudden, a bunch of infantry appear right there, which is annoying. You want to be the stealth general. I do like the tank general because with him, I feel like I can just keep pushing, and I have the most powerful unit on the field. Like, I feel strong. I feel like a dominating presence. I get in there. He's expensive, but his tanks for him cost less, but it's still an expensive endeavor to get him fully functioning.
Yeah.
And if I lose one of my tanks, that's like it's a blow. But it's a blow because it's so powerful, so it makes sense. It's expensive. If I lose it, it's kind of a big deal to me. But existing on the field is like, oh, he's got an Overlord tank. If I start marching on you with just 3 of these guys, it's a rough day. Like, oh, here comes that guy. Here comes the tank general. And I don't even need to do that because the whole game I could be harassing you with Battlemaster tanks, which are already more effective against other tanks, but they're more mobile than other tanks too. So I can do a lot of skirting maneuvers.
So you can just use your anti-tank tanks, your tank killers.
And his general perks is that he can airdrop tanks.
Oh, that's great.
So I can just be like, in the back of the enemy's base, carpet bombing tanks into their base. Just, whoo. It's funny because there's a bunch of tanks like paradropping out of the back of a plane into the enemy base. So the enemy's got and then all Chinese generals get artillery strikes from off map. So I can be like, oh, that barracks, dunk. And then a bunch of artillery shells just start coming in and wiping out that barracks.
Yeah.
And then I can bring in a bunch of tanks and just plop them right on their base. And then when they're finally done with that, like, oh, thank goodness we made it. Here comes the overlords. Usually escorted by the MiGs. That's my favorite thing to do. But I've played every single faction. I got my favorites. I don't like playing Toxic. I don't like playing Demo. Other than those two, unfortunately, I don't think those two GLA factions are worth playing. GLA is really the weakest faction.
Yeah.
But every other general I enjoy playing. I have a lot of fun playing.
No, that stealth general sounds really fun.
That stealth general on like player versus player is super annoying. Like if you can get him just right, it's like, all right, this is game over. I got him. I pretty much found him. I know where he is. You can take him out because it's difficult for him to fight. If you can figure out where he is, pin him down and start fighting him, you can overwhelm him too easy. But getting there is it's like a good player of the stealth general is an annoying person to fight. It's very difficult because he's constantly harassing you from the outskirts, running away, stealing your crap, and then you don't know, all right, is my stuff out there somewhere? And then all of a sudden you start getting attacked by your own air force, like, oh, dang it.
Oh, hey, there's my tank sniper.
Nope. Oh, yeah, there's my oh, no. Well, I'm never claiming that back again. And if you don't claim it, one of their guys comes over and claims it. And like, dang it. And then they're constantly like bringing over technicals, which are what they call the pickup trucks with machine guns on the back, because then they just offload a bunch of terrorists right in the middle of your base. And they don't care. They're not there to try and overwhelm your side. They're there to blow up your buildings.
Yeah, they're just there. They're just there.
So you have your tanks or your Humvees out front, like if you're USA, and you're like, all right, defend me. And then here come the technicals, and like, all right, shoot the technicals. And the technicals like don't care. They just right through the battle. And like, oh, they didn't even stop to fight. They go right into your base, offload a bunch of terrorists, and then I just lost my barracks. Like, what happened? I didn't even get to fight him. He just ran by my guys, blew everything up.
Gem seed through a brick of C4 at the engine block. He just said, for a lie, and floored it.
Yep. And it also comes with a campaign mode where you can play. You don't have to play a general. You can just play a faction. You can play standard Chinese. You can play standard USA, or you can play standard GLA, which is basically like no perks for either one. You don't specialize in anything. You just have generic everything, which is fine for a lot of times. It's not bad. You're not a specific general. That's how the game was originally. It was Command & Conquer Generals. You just had the 3 factions. That's all you could pick. That's all you could play. That's all you could do. But then when 0 Hour came out, they came out with specific generals, and so people typically pick a general to play as. But you can play a generic faction.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I'm hearing this and like that's general. This sounds so much fun. Gesundheit.
How dare you interrupt my podcast with your schnezzes? I'm not feeling so good. I got stuffy nose. I got croup running down my neck. I just wanted to be over with. Do you want a hot bottle when we're done?
No, I'm okay.
Are you sure? It gets pretty cold in here at night.
It is getting cold. No one's supposed to be doing stuff, and I'm not doing it.
I don't blame you. I don't want to do stuff either. I'm sitting here pretending to do stuff. On the podcast. I used to have a friend. His name was Jacob. We liked to play this game all the time together. I had another friend named Connor. His favorite faction was the Air Force General bandwagon. But it was really nice having him as a friend because I always knew that I had a powerful Air Force at my back. We like to play games where I was, when you pick maps, when you play, you can choose where you want to spawn on predetermined spots. And we like to have him play in a site behind mine so that I could protect him. And then he would send his Air Force to help me over top of me. So that he wouldn't have to worry about defense. He could just devote all of his economy to building airfields and planes, airfields and planes. And then he would send his swarm, his hornet's nest, over top me and bomb the ever-living daylights. Or as Malcolm says when you fight him in the general challenge mode, I'm going to bomb you back to the Stone Age.
I like it.
Not only does it have a campaign where you play each faction's, basically their story on conquering the world, you have general challenge mode, where you fight each general with a map specified to them, and their side is already built.
Oh no.
So you start fighting an enemy that already has a map terrain that they specialize in, and their side's already built.
Oh no.
So you start with the command center, and that's it, and you have to beat them. Now, there is a little bit of leeway. For the most part, they give you at least 5 minutes before they start just hounding you with everything they have. So you have a little bit of time to build up. But while you're building, they're like harassing you with things.
But at the 5-minute mark, they really cut loose.
Yeah, they really cut loose and start just, like, at that point, they're dropping their super weapons on you. It's difficult to fight the Air Force General because he's up in the mountains. So you got to get all your troops up the mountains where he's at the very top, bombing you from.
That's
So it's a little bit difficult to fight him. The super weapon general sucks because there's no land between you and her. And in 0 Hour, there's no navy, so you have to use air power to fight her, which sucks because she's got the EMP turrets. And she's the super weapon general. The only thing they did to like make it feasible to defeat her is there's her super weapons built on your side, actually.
So if you hit that quick,
So you have to bum rush her super weapon, otherwise you basically lose.
yeah, because otherwise you just
And then after you beat her super weapon, she starts building it on her side. So you have to build up enough infrastructure to take your power over the top to her. You have to basically stop her from building super weapons or by taking out her cache, which is on a separate island as well. You're basically island hopping to fight her.
okay.
But if you can't island hop fast enough, she starts beating you with a bunch of lasers from God.
So you got to get yourself together quick, otherwise it's a bad day. For you.
The tank general is hilarious because when you not every single general has a map in the challenge mode for some reason. The demo general and the infantry general don't have a challenge. I don't know why they chose those two, but for some reason they don't. Every U.S. general, to the Chinese, to the GLA. The Chinese tank general is just an open farmland field. He's literally staring right at you. There's nothing between you. It's just like open fields for him to just roll over and come right at you. It's like you start the game and he's like, how's it going? I'm like, okay, I'm just going to be over here if you give me a second. I'd like to fight you at some point. It's terrifying because he starts sending tanks at so many different angles and just flat terrain all around. It's really boring. It's just farmland, but like there's nothing for you to hide behind.
Yeah, no.
He's just rolling straight towards you.
Yeah, he's gonna start lancing shells through your craft. It's like,
Yep.
I'm not doing well now.
You know, the nuke general, he's kind of up on a mesa, and you're like downhill from him, and he has a bunch of artillery platforms that just shell the bejesus out of you while you're trying to build up your base.
What was our artillery called again? God, the King of the Battlefield.
King of Battle, follow me.
Yeah. So he's up there. He's like, all right, we're just gonna level everything.
Yeah, artillery is the king of battle, whereas infantry is the queen of battle. When you fight the laser general, he's kind of unique. He's the first person that you don't fight in like this side map versus this side of map. He's dead center. And then you start in like the bottom left corner. And you can surround him, but he's got a laser defense system all the way around his base. So if anything comes near it, just all of them and just erase it from existence.
How would you beat him?
So typically how I beat him is not only do I like to surround him so that I can kind of counter harass anything that he sends off of his platform, I immediately kill back. But like I said, his major weakness is his power grid. You got to bring him down. You got to somehow destroy his power grid. And you can do that in a bunch of different ways. You can just basically send Aurora bombers. You can ambush in there, start capturing them, or blow them up. Whatever you can to get in there. Or you could, his defense system can be outranged. So if like I was China, I could use my artillery platforms and shell the crap out of them, destroy a section of his defense grid, and then I can start sending in units on suicide missions to destroy his grid. I already talked about the Air Force and the Super Weapon General. So those are both really tough. Stealth General.
Nightmare and a half.
It is a nightmare and a half because his map is divided in two, and he's got two sides that he controls. One side is his command center, the other side is his Scud missile.
Which is it?
And then the map is full of traps, and he's got defense batteries everywhere, and you don't know where they are. And so basically the whole game is like you slowly crawling forward, like, all right, is everyone good? Okay, let's keep going. Oh, and there goes left column. All right, let's get another tank up here. Dadgummit, you have to have so much stealth detection going on in there. And then his Jarman Kell is just constantly harassing you. Just, how's it going? Boom, and then he's gone. Hey, how's it going? Boom, and he's gone.
You know, you get the left tank column there, you tank kills the second, the middle column, and then bails out again. You're just like, hey.
I don't like it. Go away. The Toxin General, he sucks because he's got a bunch of acid pools around the map. And your base, basically, your base starts next to a bunch of destroyed acid storage units.
Oh.
And you have to repair them in order to stop them from leaking in your base.
Oh.
And what's crazy is that you can try and repair them, but then he'll eventually like send bombers after them to blow them up, to irradiate your base with anthrax. And it really sucks.
He just a nice
And then every once in a while, he'll just drop an anthrax cloud on your base. This is dumb. And he starts with a war factory built off to the side that's constantly building bomb trucks that come in and blow up in your base if you don't stop them in time. And then they have basically the boss of the game. She's a Chinese general. She's called a quadruple A. I guess Chinese generals are labeled as 1A, 2A, AAA, and then quadruple A. But she's not just purely Chinese. She has every faction. She's got GLA, USA, and Chinese things under her control. And she has all three super weapons. So when you start the game, she's like, hey, the only way you're going to beat me is if you take everything you have and punch me all at once. Otherwise, it won't work. And then a timer starts, and that's for her super weapons. She says, you have this amount of time to defeat me, otherwise I'm firing everything I have at you. Oh, great, that's great. Okay, cool. Let me just hurry up and destroy your Scud, because the super weapon, the Scud launcher for the GLA, doesn't require power. So you can't inhibit it. You have to destroy it. And it's got the biggest health bar out of all of them. So there's something that the GLA has. But I can take out the power grid and stop the nuke and the particle cannon. So I have to destroy the Scud launcher first. It's got the second... I think it's got this... I don't remember the time. I think it's got the second longest launch time. The shortest one is the particle cannon. The USA, its cooldown is really short. The Scud launcher, I think, is the next one. And then the nuke has the longest.
It's a nuke.
Yeah. I don't really have a preference for either one. They all do a lot of damage. I'm more of a fan of fire and forget weapons, though, for RTSs, because my attention is already distracted 8 ways. If I can just click on the map and just let it do its own thing, that's fine. The particle cannon I have to direct,
Yeah, that does.
which takes me out of the fight everywhere else.
I mean, yeah, but like at the same time, that allows you to do very precise strikes.
Yeah, and they have gunships that do that, where you can have a gunship fly over and you can start picking while it's flying in a circle. You can choose its targets.
And just,
Yeah, and you can do some strategic stuff with that, but I still like fire and forget. So like China's got the artillery blast. I can just pick a building, and when the next time I come around, it's gone. It's just not there anymore. It's a magic trick.
it's a magic eraser.
It is. You know, just there's a stain, and now it's gone.
That's why I call the RPG in Killing Floor too.
The magic eraser.
Oh, dude, yeah. Especially once you upgrade it, everything's just like you pull the trigger, and then you watch the explosion, and then once the
We're getting there.
flame and smoke clears, whatever was there is no longer there.
Whew.
You went pretty deep in the paint on that one, my guy.
I really like this. This is a game that my dad introduced me to, and I've been playing it ever since. Even my cousins like playing Red Alert. They're preferred one is Red Alert 2. So it's a game I grew up around, familiar with. I haven't played it in quite some time, but back when I was really young, I played it so much that me and my friend Theron had like a bunch of the dialogue memorized, and we'd go back and forth just saying things that the characters on the screen say. Quad cannon here. It's a really long load time. Moving. Kaboom. That's the nuke launcher.
I don't like the way you said that. That makes people find that uncomfortable. Don't do that again.
Marauder tank assembled. Is there a threat to the free world? Okay, guy. That's the Paladin tank. That's the biggest tank the U.S. can offer. It's got a laser defense grid on it. If you try to shoot a rocket at it, it'll go. Pfft. Nope.
That sounds pretty broken.
Otherwise, they have Crusader tanks. That's the generic tank of the USA. Upgraded version is the Paladin tank. Is there a threat to the free world? Of course you're a Paladin.
As a paladin, I take pride in this.
When you get the toxin tractor, anthrax does a body good.
Anthrax is good for a grown boy. Real quick, change the topic. We can go back here real quick.
Okay.
I'm gonna brag on my girlfriend for a second.
You're gonna brag on or to?
On.
Okay.
She just got a brand new car, a 2024 Subaru Crosstrek, brand spanking new, right off the lot. It's got the premium package. Everything.
She took a loan out for it?
She did.
Okay.
It looks like it's a very nice car.
I'm gonna be honest with you, I don't know if that was a good idea. Hey you! It's just. So I'm gonna come over there and plug your nose. You get up and I'm gonna fart in your pillow. And then you have pink eye with that stuffy nose. But buying new cars is often you just more money than what it's worth, and then they get you a lot with the hidden fees behind the loan that you took.
Agreed.
I imagine the car is amazing. Truly, I bet it is. But buying new is oftentimes not worth it
However,
in terms of value.
her mindset is she's going to take exemplary care of this thing, and she's going to run this thing until it just dies.
It probably lost a third of its value as soon as she drove it off the lot.
Hasn't driven it off a lot yet, but
Okay, but it will.
yeah, I'm aware.
The thing about cars is they do not appreciate in value; they depreciate.
I know.
So it's very difficult buying clunkers from other people off of like Facebook Marketplace and whatnot. That's the way to go, truly, because it gets you a car that'll work fine. It doesn't need to look good. It doesn't need to smell good. It just needs to get you from point A to point B and be reliable. At this point, we're buying things that are super expensive. You're now expected to make a monthly payment for quite some time now on something that's depreciating on value, which is unfortunate. It's the opposite of a house. If you buy a house, that's a huge investment. That's capital. You got equity in it. It's appreciating in value. Cars do not.
You're wrong. However, her new car, especially because she's going to take care of it, is going to last a lot longer than any of your clunkers.
I don't know. I've had that Blazer forever.
You've had that for like a couple years. I remember I was there when you got it. It wasn't that long ago.
It's still been around for a long time.
I'm aware.
And it's the second car I've had.
Third.
The Buick was a go-between between the two.
It's still the car you had.
Still a car you had, bro. Point being, hers is probably going to outlast that as well.
I don't know. It depends.
I'm normally not one for buying new, but I don't want to buy a clunker either. I want to buy something that's used, had a few miles on it, but it's still in good condition.
Yeah, that had less than 100,000 miles on it.
No, like my Yukon before my kids got hold of it.
It's still great. That Blazer. And what's crazy about that Blazer is my grandma owned it.
I'd like to use my truck as an example, but unfortunately, my truck I got, I was kind of suckered into it, and I ended up having to drop $8,000 on it to replace the engine. So
Yep.
it's good now. It's gonna last me for a long time now because that brand new engine is still permanent kit. But as it stood, I probably got the least valuable car here up until I replaced that engine. Now I'd argue I probably have the most valuable because that engine is brand spanking new. It's less than 5 years old.
I don't know how my engine is. I got a lot of stuff on mine replaced. It wasn't totally replaced, but I got a lot of it replaced. But at a certain point, unfortunately with cars, even like replacing single parts of it become more expensive than just buying a whole new car. Which is really dumb, honestly. Like, oh hey, your whatchamacallit, your engine block went out. Alright, I could drop $5,000 on a new part for it. Or I could just buy a whole new car. Like, really? Why is this like this?
Well,
I'm not a fan of that.
She's also buying brand new gives you like a,
You got 4.5 minutes.
You're 4.5 minutes.
gives you a sense of like safety and security. Cause like
I hope so.
you know if I bought a clunker off Papermark, like I would never have an easy day because I'd already be worried about the day that thing goes out on me and whether or not I can afford to replace it. Whereas buying new for several years, you're buying peace of mind as well.
Maybe. I mean, tragedy can still strike a brand new car.
Agreed, but like
My friend Josh, he got a Chevy Volt, blew a tire on the freeway. He had to give up a lot of money because of that. It's really scary to think that that can happen, where you can get a brand new car, be out a whole bunch of money if just one simple accident happens.
yeah, I think about that daily.
Not worth it. Congratulations on the new car. I'm sure it's awesome.
Yeah.
And then it's fun to drive and whatnot. And comes with a lot of cool perks, like heated seats and whatnot.
Oh no,
I love heated seats.
It's like a 2024 Subaru Crosstrek. It is the like bee's knees, the new hotness, the whole shebang.
Comes with the red button and everything.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
I really do like heated seats. Heated seats are awesome. Heated seats are fast acting too. Like I could wait forever for the heater to get going, but heated seats.
Back when we worked at a nondescript casino, we had patrol rigs we drive around in, and they had heated seats. And oh my god,
They felt good.
Oh dude, I can't tell you how many times I accidentally passed out for 20 minutes. There's times where I'm like, all right, step down and do a patrol. Lay my seat back, turn on the heater, crash for 20 minutes, sit up, patrol done, drive away.
All right.
Ian's mic died. And this one is dying.
Oh,
Finish it up, bro.
how long ago did it die?
Don't know.
We don't know how long. I've just been talking to Ian and no one's been hearing him.
Yeah, so we were just discussing.
That one's not working either.
Thank you for joining us on another episode of Off the Rails podcast. I don't know how much of Ian you guys were able to I've been your host, Kenny. I'm joined today by my friend Tony and Ian. They can't really talk to you guys right now because of microphone issues. Sorry about the technical difficulties. But you can catch us on our social media groups, such as Your Move Studios on YouTube. We've got a Twitter that I hear about a lot, but I've never been there personally. I hear this thing called a Rumble.
Well, Twitter's called X now. We now have an X.
Seriously?
Yeah.
Yeah, they
So
changed.
X, we have an X.
It's called X. Okay. Find us on X. I think Twitter sounded cooler, but whatever. Like, share, comment, subscribe. Do the thing down below. Let us know what you think about the content and what you would like to hear us talk about, if at all possible, or what you did like hearing us talk about. Even if you hate geopolitics, we're still going to talk about it. It's here to stay. And as always, it's your move, Internet.